now last speech by Fulvio Passalacqua, ENEL.
No, non lo facciamo venire al podio come tutti, così ci racconta anche dal punto di vista di una grande azienda.
So it's a big company, and he shall speak about integrated services management. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks a lot to the organizers, Luca, with whom we are working as ENEL. And from the very beginning, I'd like to remind you that one of the big industries that we were foresighted to deal with energy sustainability is already in the 80s, when nobody spoke about it. I'm Fulvio Passalacqua, and I work inside ENEL. How can I go on with the slides? ENEL is a newborn in the ENEL group. Sorry? Just some words to tell you that the ENEL group is the main producer of renewable sources. ENEL basically deals with energy efficiency services. Our work is to produce services for the reduction of costs and emissions. That's the core of everything. To speak about a supply chain integration system and how to carry out the various actions to attain sustainability-related objectives. And sustainability objectives are essential in this market context. What ENEL does, the objective, mission and vision are to be in the right condition to support companies in reducing emission costs with the objective to protect margins and competitiveness. Why? Because margins are protected when you're able to develop systems aimed at the reduction in energy costs. It's a hot theme at the moment. And then we'll see specifically what it entails and what we should expect, what we are witnessing and what the future holds in store for us. And so competitiveness today, it's the other point, can be acquired and protected when, on the one hand, I am able to curb energy costs, total costs, the costs of the industry, private citizens, companies, and on the other hand, I can be present on the market with an environmental energy level. And today, the concept of being a sustainable energy, sustainable industry, that is physically and pragmatically taking steps toward reduction of the environmental impact and proving you have a specific procedure. It means being inside or outside of the market. Today there are no alternative choices. In the past it was a choice. It was farsightedness. Today it's not a question of choice. And it's interesting. And something caught my attention. The remark made by Heidegger, and Heidegger, the philosopher, said that in no age have we known so much about the history of man, and rightly so. In the present system, where the market context is known to us, we have information, and perhaps there's access information from so many perspectives, and perhaps it's never access, but however, information should be used to have structured interpretation. And just like Heidegger said, we know so many things, and it's unprecedented now. And from other perspectives, however, we don't have the ability to capitalize information. Where I have to invest, what I should do, what I need to do, my priorities, and the investments I should make, and the various steps, necessary steps, and the timing leading me to the result I need to achieve. If I'm a productive system, just like I said, I need to protect margins and competitiveness, otherwise I'm out of the market. If we speak about market and what do we have around, and what was said before is very interesting. Perhaps the decrease in price gaps will lead the European Union not to set a price cap. Well, it might happen, it might not happen, perhaps it's speculation, we don't know it. But we start from a concept. Obviously, the problem is that we don't know it, and not even the European Union knows it. We operators don't know it. And apart from everything, it should be clear that the market, and this graph is always very interesting. It's one of the many indexes we observe every day, and it's a composite index giving us the perception of the evolution of global demand over the course of the years. And what we can infer at the moment is that we are in a phase of contraction. And historically, if we consider the last 20 years, we never had a favorable period, because before you had the problem of Lehman Brothers, then there was a reduction in demand as a result of the financial crisis to determine one of the famous EU crises that lasted 10 years. There was such a decrease in the demand and for 10 years. And then some recovery in the pandemic arrived, and nobody expected it. Pandemic, and just like all health crises, there was a bouncing back when something was adjusted. Well, it's the typical V crisis, and then an inflationary problem, and it led to an increase in demand, and at the same time an increase in the price of raw materials to lead to a new reduction in demand. And after that, in the middle of this context, we had the perfect storm represented by the war in the Ukraine. What does it mean today? We cannot know the evolution of the energy market, and so the only remark we can make is to simply work out strategies that whereby the industry, small-sized markets, should stay away from the energy market because it's uncontrollable. You have exogenous factors, political factors that are intertwined with such a speed that you cannot foresee anything. So what we see as an ENEL group, but not just we see a huge explosion and a trend to become energy independent. As we had unprecedented gas and electricity prices, on the one hand, it was logical to expect such an action, but on the other hand, it contributed to additional inflation, and also it creates an additional problem. And what we would hope to have in any productive system to defend margins and competitiveness is to develop processes that, irrespective of everything, in the medium, short, long-term period, everything should be functional to get away from energy dependence. And Luca submitted an idea and Pasquini as well, we tried to work using this concept. On the one hand, we are sure that we have a host of information that gives us a clear-cut picture. On the other hand, if I see results, something is not so simple. How can we, in a way, within a supply chain, how can we support medium, small-sized companies with important costs and consumption? Companies that have perhaps not been at the center of economic plans. How can we support them, making available the experience of the Lucart Enel Group and also Intesa Sanpaolo? Intesa Sanpaolo makes available financial resources to make it all possible. So when we speak about integrated system, we have signed an agreement where each one does their own job. Lucart acts as a guarantor, as an interpreter, mediator toward its own clients, and so Lucart addresses clients toward the partner, just like Enel. We are available and we make our services available. We analyze data, we analyze coverage, and we propose projects, how can I say, in the most feasible way, being clear about timing, prices, and so on and so forth. Intesa Sanpaolo, also in this case, does its own job. Intesa Sanpaolo makes available a package of financial services specifically for a company that may be interested to invest in energy sustainability. And I'd like to end with a quotation by Heidegger. It's extremely interesting, the concept that insisting and identifying the differentiating factors, but a concept of search that sometimes is distant from the sensation of knowledge, and what we know, we should make it consequential. We should be able to describe it in a pragmatic, specific project, and the project of energy sustainability is to protect the margin and competitiveness of a country that needs this type of help. Thank you so much.